Hey there, Will Rich here. Hopefully you're having an amazing day today. In this video, we're going to be going over the recent moves with QBTS. If I'm not mistaken, they're up 37% today. Wow, look at that. And before we get into it, we were trading IonQ this morning. We sold for a profit of about 8%. If you ever want to watch this trade live at market open, it's the second link in the description. Take a look here on QBTS. Let's see here. Wow, 37% in one day. So we see a huge surge. Part of that is because of their recent earnings. They reported earnings today and came in above estimates and beat their earnings per share and their revenue. You see earnings per share, they beat by 14%, and then they beat their revenue by 42%. Wow, that's huge. So still seeing some negative net income there, it appears to be, but at the end of the day, we have a really nice push up today, 37%. At the end of the day, we can only look at what's happening right now in the level. So let's take a look. Looks like last time we analyzed it, we were identifying this trend here. And we stopped identifying, I think, somewhere around here. I think we were anticipating maybe a move up to 850. Looks like it stalled out, took some more time on that move, and then really surged today as we see it broke to that resistance and then broke out again. Now it's looking very overbought, and I could expect it sells down to $9 a share if it's going to validate that previous resistance. Let's take a look a little bit further back. So I think it was right here we started covering it when it was around 85 cents a share. It shot up to $11. Then Jensen from NVIDIA had that announcement that quantum computing's 10, 15 years away. We saw the market crash. We went to CES to go see what was up with the quantum track at CES. No one was covering it. We got some good insights, got to meet IonQ, got to meet Microsoft and IBM executives. And then we saw consolidation through here. And then I think it was right around here we had the event for D-Wave that we went to in Scottsdale. And at the time, they had surged up to about $12 a share, I believe. So full recovery up to previous highs. And then they sold down during those days after that event. They had some earnings that were pretty large net income negative, and that's kind of what happened. Then they started to break back into this trend that we're identifying right here. And now they've just continued some of this direction. So really to get a good look at what's going on with the near term, as you can see, this recent push up well above the 200-day moving average, RSI MACD looking very overbought, but really similar to the type of push up we'd see here or the type of push up we were seeing back here. So anything could happen. You know, we could see previous highs. It is possible, because let's not forget the overall trend here with QBTS. It's like that. That is the overall trend. So while we had this smaller trend staying true to pattern, and it did look more overextended recently, right? It looks overextended in this smaller trend. In the big trend here between these orange lines, it actually looks like maybe it's bouncing, continuing this uptrend. So with AI being as big as it is and getting as much coverage as it is, QBTS maybe reaching those highs would be about a 25 or 30% increase from here. Not the biggest increase, honestly, given how much of a steep surge that would be. But at the end of the day with QBTS, what I'm looking at is, number one, their commercial usage. So we recently know that they have a partnership with Boeing. And in the partnership with Boeing, they announced just recently, and we're waiting to see how that plays out and if that turns into a large contract. If it does, that's excellent. D-Wave, from perspective of recent earnings, so they reduced their loss and increased their revenue there. If you go to their sites, one thing we noticed was when we were at the Qubits event is that they were working with a lot of commercial companies, and they had a focus on commercial. So you have Pattison food group, you have Ford Audison, and they kind of did the whole breakdown of how their software works with quantum, and then NT Docomo. And part of the reason why they've recently seen surges is because of the claims and the recent announcements. They say they have quantum supremacy. They are the fastest computers, and they are in real world applications today. And it says our customers are tackling operational challenges across industries, advancing groundbreaking research, and even exploring new efficiencies with AI. Can we solve together? And then they have their cloud service. So if you decide you'd like to, they have the free trial, and you can use their Leap cloud service. It's a real-time quantum cloud service built for businesses. 99% uptime, so the ability to solve problems in a fraction of a second. And the Leap service has helped D-Wave customers address hundreds of millions of business and research problems since its launch in 2018. So in this platform, essentially you're able to run different models. You can have up to 2 million variables built to support production grade applications with up to 2 million variables and constraints via their hybrid quantum solvers. Hundreds of practical applications from sectors including manufacturing, logistics, retail, financial services, public sector, life sciences, and more. And so real-time answers. Now, as they're working on this, you have the code. It's comprehensive, useful, practical, and top-tier compliance. That is the recent documentation that they've released too. They have D-Wave GitHub. Okay, they got some code examples. They got documentation for an overview of D-Wave's quantum system and software. And so I'd imagine that if companies, like when we went to the events, you had Boeing there, you had some of the biggest companies in the world, including not just commercial, but also private. You had Anduril as well. And they were there taking a look at the tech, wondering if they were able to use their quantum computing cloud service to run applications and use less energy. Okay. And you can see less energy and getting measurable results from hybrid quantum applications in workforce scheduling, vehicle routing, and more. I would imagine that this is kind of what's driving some of their revenue, maybe. It's also possible they're continuing to just get their contracts with different companies, including some companies over in Germany. They got some Europe ties. They also are working with some bigger US companies at the moment. And it's really good to see that their revenue is increasing. I actually had a little bit of, a doubt in their recent marketing mix. I'm like, can this add up? Let's see, because the financials were not surprising in the past few financials. But with these recent financials, it's looking good. It's looking awesome. So as we start to see their financials improve, and then we start to see this trend continue, I think it's really one of the bullish ways, the hyper bullish outlook for D-Wave would be that we see it push up to this $12 range right up in here. And that would be about a 28% increase from current prices. The bearish approach, or the more conservative approach, could be that we see it sell down to 690 somewhere back here. If it's going to continue the trend, it would be healthy. But I also could see it being as fairly healthy if it does push up to this $11 or $12 range, because you already see it start to make that move. Now, in the near term, I would imagine this, maybe not the hyper bullish case, but a more conservative but not bearish approach would make a lot of sense. So right here, you can see this move. There is a resistance right here that it just broke above. And so the next level to really watch closely actually is an intersection of not just this right here, this resistance, so resistance, but also this level over here that it just broke out of. So it just broke out of this level. And so now let's see if it can hold above really what is about $9 a share. If it can hold above $9 a share, maybe even this level extend out and we start to see it validated, even consolidate on it and continue up. That's a really nice, healthy, bullish pattern for QBTS. It has sold off just a little bit since pushing up today. It pushed up to $9.70. It's back down to $9.43, 44 cents. So we'll see how it plays out throughout the rest of the day. Our portfolio was up 2% because we ended up selling IonQ, and we also sold Symbiotic stock for a profit this morning. And then at the same time, you can see some of the markets recover today, which is quite nice. AMD doing quite well. And then QBTS, with the current prices, I would look for potentially, if we're going to buy bullish, maybe a dip, possibly at market open for a near term. We're not going to touch any of the long term. We'll still hold our positions there. But when it comes down to the near term here, maybe down to $9 a share, or yeah, somewhere in this range where we just drew those levels. If we see it maybe pop down there at market open, possibly you could see a little bit of a recovery there, and I could see that as a nice entry. A good time to buy QBTS would be validating that resistance. So we'll see if any opportunities present themselves at market open. And again, if you guys want to be there, it's the second link below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. We're growing fast. I appreciate you all. Comment down below what you think of QBTS. Let me know what companies you're watching closely. And if I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.